Welcome back to Keeper's Corners, you lot. It's been a few weeks. We've had the international break. We just didn't have time last week, did we?
No, we were busy.
We were busy. But this week we've got an absolute bumper episode for you because we're going to start with 3 goals that went in, which we feel we've got some constructive criticism for. And then we're going to finish on 3 outrageous double worldy saves. We're going to start, though, at Anfield, Liverpool against Bournemouth. It's a big ball over the top, Wasso. Konaté, Luis Diaz running onto it, Kepa, no man's land.
Yeah, I think for everybody watching this show and trying to educate yourself, we know goalkeeping is all about decision-making. So we get a still here. You can see Kepa in the picture. Because of the distance of Konaté's diagonal through ball, we've not quite got the picture of that. But you can see Kepa's high. He's stood, he's holding a position.
It's a good positive, high starting.
Absolutely. You can see Bournemouth have obviously had a relatively high line. So he's about a yard inside his own box. So he's in a good start position. But that's the start of the action. Now you have to make secondary decisions. So it's that point there now, he's finished. He has got to see that he cannot get there. So you have to make secondary decisions. So he's in a really good start position when the diagonal ball's played. He's holding in that position. At that point, see the defenders, see Diaz, see it's outside the box. You cannot win it. Let your defenders defend. Retreat. You've got 3 white shirts, ultimately, that would be trying to deal with Diaz if he would have retreated in that position. And ultimately, for Diaz, he's just made the striker's decision so much easier for him. Take it round you. And ultimately, you're not rolling it into an empty net because the defender's trying to get back there. But as a goalie, you've just taken yourself out of the game for nothing.
Yeah, you've made it very, very easy for Diaz. I think you've got to say fair play to Luis Diaz first and foremost. His touch was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And at one point, he is the only player that is looking at the whole situation. Yeah. Defenders are running back, looking at the ball. The goalkeeper's looking at the ball. He's aware that Diaz is there. But what Diaz has done is he's read it all and gone, I think I can nick in front of Kepa here. Yeah, and as soon as Kepa sort of knows that as well, that's the bit there. You've got to retreat. Just stop getting involved in stuff that you don't need to get involved with.
So from the high start position, he's got to be seeing the images in front of him. He's got to be scanning to his right, knowing that Diaz is coming there. Because if you come outside your box, you have to take the ball.
You've got to get it.
You've got to take the ball.
Get it.
Otherwise, you're wrong. And you can see here, he's flat-footed, he's done. It's an amazing touch.
Yeah, it is.
But the goalie makes the decision for him and he makes it easy. So, yes, you can start in a high start position, but there's nothing wrong from a high start position for you to say, no, it's not mine, back off, retreat, let your defenders defend. From the high start position, if you now chase the game because you think it's your ball, if you come outside the box, you've got to take it. So, from a high start position, if you come, you've got to take it. If not, retreat, let your defenders defend.
Especially where at Anfield, you do not want to be giving away cheap goals like this one as well. Right, next goal, Watsky, is at Craven Cottage. It's Emile Smith-Rowe's goal against Newcastle. Nick Pope, he's just a little bit slow and cumbersome getting down to it. He's tried to almost just sort of field it, get a hand behind it, and it slipped in through it.
I think normally he would just stop it. If I'm brutally honest. But there's 2 points to the action here. Smith-Rowe gets tight to him and it's a little toe poke. But I also think he sees Traore in there. Because I think if Traore's not in there, I think he does use his left hand and he probably scoops it away. But then he's thinking he's got a tap in. So he has too much movement on his left hand, trying really to think, I need to get this away.
Yeah, it's gone through Dan Burns' legs as well, in fairness to him. But still.
And he's he knows that he can't just use the palm and parry with his left hand into that position. And you can see his movement. He's trying to flick it, so he gets it away.
He's trying to flick it out here, basically, past his left-hand side post.
Absolutely.
Which is a very difficult thing to do when the ball's coming fairly quickly at you. You've got to, it's a quick little technique like that because he's so worried about just popping it out to Traore in front of him. But he hasn't got the timing of it, right?
He's got no time. And ultimately, for the big goalie there, it's so hard to get your left hand. Yeah. He'd normally scoot out with his left foot and make a save. But he's got Traore in the middle of the box and he's got Raul Jimenez there, and there's the 18 here. He's got 3 white shirts that are all involved for a tap-in. So we're going to discuss here, you've got to stop the game at source. You've got to stop the first action. But he knows that he's thinking of secondary and third actions here. Anything comes off him, it's a goal. And ultimately, he's never getting 2 hands onto that to catch it.
I think
a foot or a hand to
I think this should be a foot save. I think here, this is the best way of getting this ball clear of all the danger and getting it away from your goal is by standing up just a little bit more, just being a little bit more upright. That way that you can lean back and get that
on your left
exactly
foot.
Get that left leg open your foot up, and then get it up over there. Because if he does that, it comes right out over here.
Because I think he's crouched and he can't get his left foot away
He's
to
stuck
chop.
in. Yeah.
He only knows he's got to try and get the timing perfect with his left hand to scoop it away.
It's a much harder save like that.
So
with a foot
harder.
save, it's open it up and you just shovel it away with the inside of your foot.
But it just looks really awkward for him because normally 9 out of 10 it's a foot save and you want some defenders back. But I do feel sympathy for him because I think he's tried to execute a save to get rid of these white shirts because he knows he can't catch it.
Deal with the initial shot and then work on anything out after that. And the fact that it's gone through Dan Burns' legs hasn't helped.
And that's what we'll come on to because if you make that first save, all the work you do as a goalie, when we get to the double saves, you've got a chance.
Whoa, there you go. Right, final mistake of the weekend is Nottingham Forest against Brighton. Matt Sels in goal. Danny Welbeck free kick. It's Matt Sels' side, isn't it, Walter?
Yeah, I just really don't like it. And for an educational point of view, it's black and white.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, when the ball doesn't go over the wall, it's your side. So you've got to trust that the wall can do something. We know the ability of these players. He's basically stood in the middle of the goal. So he's given Welbeck the opportunity.
First and foremost, he should not be stood in the middle of the goal.
He cannot be in the middle of the goal.
He's got to be at least another step, at least a whole step as well.
Absolutely.
To his left-hand side, because that way then the wall is doing their job there. If he puts it over the wall and puts it into this near-cut post, you hold your hands up sometime. But you have to cover one side of the goal. By standing in the middle, you're doing neither, really.
Nothing. But I'd argue with him on the setup because Gibbs-White is off the wall, which you can be.
Yeah.
But I would argue if I'm a goalie and I want that guy off the wall, I want you, if my wall's here, I want Gibbs-White level with that post there. So I know that he's got to really bend it round
him, yeah.
And I can, even if Brighton then put 2 players in this screen here, I can stand in that position knowing that my player maybe get a head or something, a foot on it, and I know he's in line with that far post. And I can still work between the 2 Brighton players. But Gibbs-White actually just becomes another body in his way.
Yeah.
But he should be over to his left a bit more, and he has to defend that side of the goal.
This goal, Watto, is for me probably the worst goalkeeping mistake of the weekend because it is a set piece, because everything should be set and everybody should be in their positions. The wall should be in the right place. Morgan Gibbs-White should be in the right place. The goalkeeper should be in the right place. And none of it is right. When you get a few seconds in a Premier League match to actually stop and organise and everybody stood still, it's like gold.
And you're waiting for the whistle.
You have to take advantage of it. You have to get everybody into their right places. So the fact that he hasn't even done the fundamentals, the basics, the goalkeeper coach and the manager will be having a proper look at this. I guarantee you about it.
Where Hinshelwood ends up and the ball just misses him, that's where Gibbs-White should be.
Exactly.
That's where he should be.
Yeah,
and you should be in that position.
Yeah.
But on the bottom line of all these things, he's not gone for it.
No, he hasn't, no.
And it doesn't matter what level you play at, if you stand and watch it, it's going to go in.
Well, the reason why he can't get after it is because he's just taken a little step onto his right foot. He's taken a little glance. You see that? There you go. You can see it in that picture there. His body weight is going to the right-hand side. His head is looking round for the right-hand side. He's completely off balance when the ball is being... Instead of going, right, I've got my wall in the best position. I've got Morgan Gibbs-White in a good position. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to react to whatever comes. And I think if he'd have done that, it's a comfortable save because it's not right in the corner,
that
is it?
Jamie gets up for us there. If Morgan Gibbs-White is there, he could potentially head it. But Sels would be another step over.
Yeah, exactly. It's not right in the corner, by the way. Look, you can see when the ball goes in the back of the net, it's not. It's only just in the inside. It's not right in the corner whatsoever.
And the height, everything's lovely. It's sacrilege, but you've got to organise your wall, you've got to organise the guy off the wall, and you've got to get a good position. And the one thing you know is, if he's not got the ability to go up and over, you're expected to make that save.
Exactly.
It would have been great to get Danny Welbeck in here as a striker in the Premier League, because That's all his dinners.
Oh, he won't believe his
Breakfast,
luck.
lunch,
He will not
dinner.
believe his luck.
He cannot believe that.
Yeah.
And the goalkeeper's got to take more autonomy than that. So when we're out there, guys, set your wall up, get the man off the wall in a good position in line with that far post, and make sure you're covering your side of the goal and get after it.
Love that, mate. Right, on to sort of like happier things.
Happier things. Yeah.
This, for me, is one of the best double saves you will ever see, Watto. Okay? The first one, it's a fairly comfortable save. It's a strong left hand. He's got down really well. But to get up as quickly, as powerfully, to arch his back, to get some sort of anything on the second ball, the bravery as well. He could well get a kick in the face here. Onana.
Yeah, chapeau, and we're going to look at some great saves. But look, that bit there is the key. So look at the head position.
Look at his
Still,
eyes. Look at Onana's eyes there.
All he's focused on, he's going to get something. You can see in terms of the push-off, he's had to come from a low left-hand save to get back up to his left hand. He's on his left leg. He's pushing as much as he can. But he's now there. He's there. Look at the arch of his arms, his back.
Head position.
You do not make any of that save without the head position.
A lot of head positions there on goalkeepers, they're worried about getting a kick in the face. They're worried about even the ball going in the face. And they're turning their head, which makes your shoulders turn, which makes your arms turn.
You're inside the line of it.
Exactly.
It's an amazing
He doesn't
person.
take his eyes off the ball.
Look at that
brilliant.
line there. He's on his toe, he's pushed. But look how high that right hand gets up to get that touch. And just on contact, head position, but he's now horizontal in that position. And he's used all that extension of that top right hand. Honestly, it is...
it's top level.
It's phenomenal.
Look at that.
Look at the arch in it.
Look at the arch in it, Watto.
But you go back to all that, and whether you're young or old, you'll work to try and get anywhere near that agility. But if your head doesn't allow you to see the ball, you're finished.
Yeah, right
so
on.
for all the ability and everything he's got, head position is vital. The agility and flexibility will come. But if you turn your head, you ain't never going to make that save.
Love that, Watto. Brilliant, Onana. What a save. Right, second double save we've got, Watto, is big Muric for Ipswich. It's Brighton 0, Ipswich 0. This is lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
The second one for me is fantastic. First one, it's fairly comfortable. He's down there. But to get up as quickly as he did.
Yeah, I think he's read the situation well on the first, and he'd probably be slightly disappointed.
Yeah.
But in goalkeeping, the next action's key. So he steps inside to his right, so he's ready. You know, he can see there's a bend. He's trusting the two defenders are going to cut off the near side of the goal, and he'd have probably been wanting a bigger parry. But he's not switched up. He's had two contacts, and he's managed to get his big frame across and get two hands on it again. So it's here now, adjusting as he cuts inside. Trust that your defenders are going to block it off.
His body weight there, when he takes a shot, is incredible. It's almost slightly leaning to his right. He's fully trusting his two defenders in front of him. He knows that if this ball is going to hit the target, it's going to be down to his right. So he reads it perfectly, gets a big old block on it, probably too much of a big block on it.
Absolutely, took the pace off the ball.
And then when it falls to Matoma here, I guarantee you Matoma's thinking, oh, here we go, green light, goal, tapping, thank you very much, Lee. But big old Muric, he's a big lump as well, by the way.
Body weight, yeah.
Very
good. It's the transfer of the body weight. Brilliant to set the first save off, but not giving it up and just driving across and using your frame now to your advantage. Spring, spread, and get anything on it. And again, we talked about head position on the first one. Here you go. Boom. He's looking at the ball.
Head position.
If he turns his head, because Mitoma's going to smash it in from 3 yards away,
everything changes.
He can't see the ball.
Everything
to save
changes.
it.
Your arms turn, your body your shoulders twist over. Most of them go through you, don't they?
Yeah,
it might hit you, but it will just go through you still. But when your head's straight and you go right at it like that, it's full and solid and locked.
So it's the big learning curve. Don't open the goal up there. He's read it so he can save it, but there. Get that push, get that spring, but your head's got to remain still to allow you to make the save. You've got to be able to see the action. And no matter how big or small you are, let your head stay still and use your frame for the seconds.
Love it, Watsky. We have been blessed this season, by the way, with some double saves.
Amazing.
We have been blessed. We did David Raya, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago. One of the best you'll see. Yeah. And he's only gone and done another one, mate. Yeah. He's only gone and done another one. Champions League in the week, makes the penalty save, gets back up. This second save, what I'm talking about last week was how quickly he gets up there off the ground.
Yeah. And it's a technique, and a lot of English goalies or British goalies wouldn't do that.
Nope.
And that came in the follow. So watch the save. So he spins on his right shoulder and gets his backside. He doesn't use his right hand to get up. It's a spin. left hand slightly,
Yeah.
and then he's got that spring and the agility to make that save. Ultimately, you're happy with the first penalty save. But because it's actually inside him, it comes off his forearm and just the inside of his palm. But look at the spin off his back and his backside.
He doesn't use his right arm whatsoever in that.
And he uses his left hand just then, and then it's 1, 2, onto his left foot, an agility and a spring. It is phenomenal. And when you're trying to learn here, if he would have used at any point his right hand to get up, it's finished.
It's out of position.
It'd have been gone. It's an empty goal. So he's had to use that technique of that rotation and spin. So he's using his whole core there. Boom.
Oh, mate.
2 contacts and up.
It's
incredible.
It's hard to describe how much he has used his core to get up there, right?
Incredible.
So when he's spinning on your bum like that, right, you have to recruit all of these muscles. And, I can't do that movement, by the way. I've tried that. Aurelio Gomez used to do that all the time. And he'd get up and I'd watch him. I'd say, mate, how have you done that? That's outrageous. I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I didn't have that ability.
I'll be honest, as a coach, it's not a natural thing. Normally when you did that exercise, because your shape would be in a normal way, you'd be off your right hand and you'd be up, but you'd be too slow. And Big Fraser, who I used to work with at Southampton, he saw some foreign goalies doing it who he'd worked with, and he tried to get that, and it did make a difference in terms of getting back up to get quicker, especially when the ball's going back opposite from you, because it's the hardest one. So ultimately, he's got back beyond the penalty spot, beyond the middle of the goal. If he'd have used his right hand under a normal context, the ball would have been in. He wouldn't have even been up. It'd have been up off his right hand, and he'd have just sprung from the post position, and the ball would have beat him.
I know I said a couple of weeks ago when he made that double save against Aston Villa about there's not many goalies in world football can make that save. I stand by it for this as well. There's not many in world football that are able to make that initial save, then get up as quickly, agilely, nimbly, and make that second save as well.
I think it's just the technique. And Muric's just made an amazing save. He wouldn't have been able to use that technique. His body weight would have been too much.
This is top level. This is the toppest of top level.
Top level. It's
isn't
incredible. And I just put down to the work of normally if that ball goes to his right, it'd have been up to his right and he'd have been able to get the double save. But because of his core and the spinning, it's that bit that allows it. And phenomenal. Then the drive. It is phenomenal. So you've got to learn there's 2 different ways of getting up.
Yeah. This is it's been my favourite episode we've ever done, Watson.
Well,
Watson,
they are...
It was phenomenal.
Foster, they are 3 unbelievable saves.
I hope you've enjoyed that, you lot, as much as we enjoy doing it, because we have seen some worldies today, some constructive criticism, and then some buzzing off absolute
some
worldies.
Real love.
Oh, it's proper.
Double
it is absolutely proper. Watto, incredible as always. We'll see you soon. Keep it spawning.